My name is Ronnie Conway, and I'm the Principal Lawyer and Solicitor Advocate at the Conway Accident Law Practice. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity just to say a few brief words about pedestrian accidents in Scotland. And by pedestrian accidents, I mean car on human person. There was research that was published in 2017 which said that Scotland was one of the most dangerous places in Europe for pedestrian accidents. There were, in 2017 when the figures were published, there were 38 fatalities involving pedestrians, including, heartbreakingly, 2 children. And when people get in touch with me about these kinds of accidents, I'm always struck that the law is different from what the ordinary member of the public's perception is. And it's for this simple reason, that a car is potentially a lethal weapon, whereas a pedestrian can rarely do any harm to anyone, which means that the level of attention, care and vigilance is so much higher insofar as a driver is concerned. And a very frequent scenario that I get, particularly where there are young children involved, by that I mean 8 or 9-year-olds, is the witnesses say, well, the driver had no chance, the boy just ran out into the street. Now, that may be right or it may be wrong, but it really does depend on a close and detailed forensic examination of the facts. And the kind of things that the court will look at is, first of all, what does the Highway Code say? Now, if you haven't looked at the Highway Code since the time that you passed your driving test, you might be in for a bit of a surprise, because you will see that there are whole areas devoted to what is known as vulnerable pedestrians. That is typically children. And we all know the situation, we've all been a child ourselves, where a bouncing ball or something someone said means so much more and causes a sudden rush into the street. A driver is expected to be vigilant for those kinds of situations. So if you see a group, and typically it's 8 to 10-year-olds, playing football on the streets or messing about or playing tig, a driver is expected to slow down, to be prepared for them doing something stupid, and to either reduce their speed or to sound their horn. And in practice, in my legal practice, there's probably 3 general kind of situations. The first is the adult pedestrian who's in the middle of the street, cavorting around, frequently under the influence of drink or drugs. Now, we've all, as drivers, we've all seen that. Is it open season on drunks? Well, I'm afraid not. Your duty is to slow down and to drive around them. The second situation is where an adult pedestrian steps out from the pavement. The normal expectation is that the driver should not necessarily anticipate that. Unless it's clear that the person is about to cross, then the law does not expect a counsel of perfection from drivers, and there will be no responsibility. And of course, the third situation is the one that I've spoken about already, the accidents to children. Everything depends on the line of sight which the driver has. A normal walking speed is probably about 3 to 4 miles per hour, and that gives 6 feet per second. So if someone has managed to get to the middle of the typical carriageway in Scotland, which is about 20 feet, then by definition, they will have been in view for at least 3.5 to 4 seconds. The normal driver's reaction time is about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds, so there's plenty of time for people to take avoidance action. And I suspect you're listening to this and you're saying, but that can't be wholly the driver's fault. And you're right, because in most pedestrian situations, there's what's known as apportionment of liability. So, for example, the driver might be held 60% to blame, whilst the pedestrian might be held 40% to blame. So, in a case where damages might be assessed at £10,000, the payout to the pedestrian would be £6,000. I've only really just scratched the surface on this kind of issue, and I've written a book about these factors, and it's called The Secret Insider's Guide to Insuring Your Car Accidents, Car Insurance, and the Motor Insurance Industry. And it deals in particular with, there's a separate section called Whose Fault Is It Anyway? And it deals with the typical road traffic accident scenarios. If you wish a copy of the book, it's available on Amazon, but if you fill in an online inquiry form, we will send it to you hard copy free of charge, or you can ask for a downloadable PDF. I hope some of what I've said has been helpful for you. If you want to discuss matters further with us, please get in touch. We're here, we're ready to listen.